Welcome to the V2S Podcast. We are three guys who like music. We've been in bands. We've watched countless bands live. We're going to talk about all things music related. At least we're going to start there. We're going to share some stories, opinions, lots of opinions, insights, and whatever else we feel like. So sit back and share a few laughs with us. Welcome to the V2S Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the V2S Podcast. We are excited you came back for a second episode. We had our debut episode a couple weeks ago, got great responses. I am Bill Vinson. Joined with me again is Scott Gale and Dan Vinson. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right once my kids stop screaming.
Yeah, you don't look all right. I'm going to be honest. You look constipated, and that's not good.
That's just his general look.
That's just how I look, yeah.
That's just your face. And Scott, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, we're back for round two.
Back for round two. Yeah, we are excited to go bands A through Z. Like I said, a lot of great feedback. As you hear things you either like, don't like, want to interact with us, email us at V2S Podcast, V2S Podcast at gmail.com. Interact with us on Twitter at V2S Podcast. Let us know what you think. We're having some fun with this. We've gotten some responses. Apparently people love the Gin Blossoms and Black Crows conversation, which we won't revisit, but it was pretty fun.
And also everyone should keep in mind that what we say is right. So the decisions we come to, those are the correct decisions.
Indisputable.
Right.
So hopefully you engage with us. Today's topic, we did A through G last time of the best bands of all time. I'll do a quick recap. We're going to start with H. I'm not going to promise how far we're going to get because if you listened last time, we got off course pretty quick. But I'll do my best to keep us back, get us back on track. We'll see where we can get to. But again, thank you for being with us. A couple weeks ago, we did A through G. We had A was Allison Chains in a huge upset for the best band with
I still vehemently disagree with that.
And you're still wrong.
And you are still wrong. That was actually fun to re-listen to. And actually, when I re-listened to it, I went back and listened to Allison Chains that night. Because you just don't get enough of it. B was Black Label Society. A lot of you haven't heard of them. Check them out if you haven't, because it's great stuff. CCR.
Don't agree with that one either.
Again, commentary is not asked for. CCR came in with the C's. Yeah, this is a podcast, not a radio show where people call in.
It's a recap, Dan. Shut up.
I'm recapping. I don't agree.
Def Leppard was our D. And believe it or not, coming in at the E, if you didn't listen, Extreme. Who would have thought Extreme would get love on a podcast like this? Then Faith No More, and with the G, it was unequivocally, undoubtedly GNR. For anybody who grew up in the era we did and after, you can't have a band as good as Guns N' Roses was that starts with a G. So that's what brought us to where we are. For those new to the show, we talk about music, we talk about bands, we talk about concerts we've been to, and really anything else on our mind. And maybe insult each other along the way. Did I miss anything, guys?
No, you pretty much hit it right on the head there, especially with the insult each other. So we ended with G, so that means we move into H, because that's how the alphabet works. So why don't I kick that off as long as I'm talking? So Dan and I actually texted earlier about our favorite H bands, and Dan was saying that Hanson needs to be mentioned.
That was Bill.
I'm blaming you.
I'll take the Hanson love. I've actually seen Hanson not once, not twice, but 3 times. Shout out to my sister. I've seen him with my sister 3 times. Not saying they deserve to win, but they're pretty fun.
Oh my God! Wow. So anyway, Hanson is not on my list.
No,
at all.
mine either.
No. So I had a couple. Well, I'll start with my top 2. So
H is not strong. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
it's
H
not
is
super strong.
It's not really beefed up. When we get to S's, I'm going to have a lot to say about those bands in there, just so you guys know.
You do love Stuttering John.
No, anyway, that'll be coming up. But, so for my H list, I had Halestorm, Hell Yeah, The Hunger.
The Hunger.
Just for one song. because I can't think. Well, I can name 2 songs actually by The Hunger, but that's it. And then just for fun, I threw in Hoobastank. Because
I think you're missing who should be the winner.
Oh,
Who?
Wait. Before you say, Dan, I will say I narrowed my H list down to just the first 2, because while it's not a deep list, you're hitting pretty hard with Halestorm and Hell Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
And then I thought okay, I got to have a couple more fun ones in there.
Right.
So that's where you get The Hunger and Hoobastank.
I like the fun, but I'm with you. It's between Halestorm and Hell Yeah, unless Dan throws in a wild card we didn't think of.
Hell Yeah is amazing. They're great. These aren't winners, but you got to give love to Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh,
I suppose you do.
sure. I'm actually...
Bill loves Hootie.
I know. I love Darius Rucker. I'm a huge Darius Rucker solo fan. Not a big fan of Hootie, but go ahead.
As much as it's a joke, Hall & Oates has some good songs. And you know they do.
She's a man-eater.
She is a man-eater. They're not rock, but like most people who like rock like them. House of Pain.
Huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shamrocks and Shenanigans, that Butch Vig remix, is awesome.
Sure. You got that.
And then what I think should be the winner, although I like Hell Yeah way more, they're more our style, but Heart. Barracuda, Queen of Hearts, Magic Man.
Are you gonna live in the classic rock bands?
No, but I think you guys just gloss over. You have glossed over Aerosmith, Sabbath, the Beatles, really CCR, Deep Purple.
Right. But
you
we did
totally have glossed over all the classics.
Right.
Heart, in a bigger scheme, Heart is a way bigger band than Hell Yeah. Now, I like Hell Yeah better.
Right. Okay.
So, I just think Heart deserves some love.
They do.
You guys glossed over the Doors on D, too.
We did.
Mm-hmm. The Doors are better than Def
I'm
Leppard.
not arguing with any
backwards.
of these comments. They're correct. We did gloss over them.
Glossed over quite a few of those
Anyway.
bands that you mentioned.
Ann Wilson's a phenomenal singer.
Yeah, no, there's nothing against Heart. I mean, they've got great tunes and all that kind of stuff.
She was on
Barracuda.
Sammy's rock and roll road trip, I think, last season with Jerry Cantrell on, ironically, going back to Allison Chains. And the 3 of them jammed something. I can't remember what, but it was cool.
Well, they're Seattle-based, so
Yeah.
aren't they? Heart?
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
So, and they did actually a cover of an Alice in Chains tune. I forget which one, but I think it was Wood. It might have been Wood.
I think you're right.
But
Everyone covers that. Someone do Dem Bones. Come on.
Fishbone did a cover of Them Bones.
Fitting.
It was awesome.
All right.
Anyway.
But I
Anyway.
appreciate you bringing that up. And, I mean, I could
No,
never
it's
get
the
down
shit,
with
man.
Heart. They never, except for that one song, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. That was the worst great song ever. And probably their
They have
last
that-
big hit.
Well, they got Barracuda.
You don't like Barracuda or
Yeah.
Magic Man or Queen of Hearts?
What is that song of Hearts that starts with the acoustic guitar riff? What is that tune? I can't think of it off the top of my head. You know the one I'm talking about. Starts with a little acoustic thing.
The Heart song that starts with it.
Anyone?
Crazy on You?
That's the one.
Oh.
That's a phenomenal song.
Yeah, that intro is
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's a really, really good intro. So I'll give that to Heart.
Yeah, but I mean, even all that being said, even like woman-fronted band, I'm all for, but I'd go Halestorm way over Heart.
Oh, yeah. I would too.
The only Halestorm song I know is their cover of a Dio song. Which is, they do great, but
They covered Skid Row's Slave to the Grind, too.
Yes, they did.
nice. I've just never listened to Halestorm. I can't say yay or nay. I've never...
You should check them out. They're a great band.
Yeah, but
You're going to shoot down my heart, so my
Yep.
vote would be for... Literally, you shot down my heart. So my vote would be for Hell Yeah, then.
I'd vote for Hell Yeah too, and I just want to give a plug for their last album, Welcome Home. It is so good, maybe like sonically the best album they've done, and I truly want to believe Vinny played on 90% of the songs. Like they said he did, but I don't know how much of that was just to sell records. but their last one is really good.
Is it? I only have Stampede and Blood for Blood. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they have an album called Blood for Blood, yeah, and they have one called
those
Stampede.
Two. Yeah, those are the only two I have. So did this other one come after Blood for Blood, or is there another one in between?
There's another one in between, which actually I love that one. That's the one, Scott, where Dime plays "I Don't Care Anymore."
Nice.
I've heard that version.
Yeah,
I didn't know they put it on now.
Again, proving that Phil Collins is just...
Jeez, it all comes back.
Well, I mean, kind of does, doesn't it?
I had a listener reach out to me. I'll give him a shout out. Paul Rozeski reached out and said the Phil Collins talk was kind of interesting. And I said, yeah, that'll probably keep coming up. So there you go. Organically,
And by-
Phil Collins came up again.
Was he being facetious when he said interesting, or was he serious?
You know, it was over email, so I couldn't quite tell. I think he was
you didn't
serious.
Yeah, I'm going to go with he was serious, that he enjoyed it. So, stick around for more Phil Collins talk as this thing goes on.
That'll get us to 76 listeners.
There we go, yeah. So, okay, H is going, I'm writing it down. H is going to Hell Yeah?
Well, I'm voting for Halestorm, but okay.
And Dan, you're voting
I'm
for
voting
Hell
for
Yeah.
House of Pain.
Come on.
Oh, it just derailed the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'll be
I'm-
fine. I'll be fine with Hell Yeah, but, I mean, I won't,
You won me over for Halestorm just by saying it and like thinking about Lizzie Hale. We met them. Quick side story. My wife and I, my bride and I, meet Halestorm, and she looks at me. I put my arm around Lizzie Hale, and my wife looks at me and goes, "Please tell me you're grabbing her ass." Love you, baby.
That would be
That was
inappropriate.
funny. That's a cool wife right there. So yeah, I would go with Halestorm.
I think
too.
that Lizzie Hale would have killed you.
She didn't.
She probably would have.
Still here. All right, moving on. Sorry, son, if you're listening to this, and honey, daughter. My
I'm
wife knows.
uncomfortable.
But all right, I'm voting for Halestorm then. So you got two Halestorms and an inappropriate story about Lizzie Hale's booty. But Dan, you got anything to add to that?
Again, you're both wrong. So
I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't seem like Bill and I have been wrong often.
yeah, you've been wrong quite a few times. But,
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's no way Hailstorm's a better band than Heart. Or
No,
Hell Yeah.
there's definitely a way.
There is a
or
way.
Hall & Oates.
You might have us on Hall & Oates. You might have us
Well,
on that. But
Yeah, I mean, I'll...
Come on, you know that I don't even know the name of the song, but that one song in Wedding Singer during the montage when they're
somebody's
what I want, you know.
screaming the name of that song in their phone right now.
is that?
That's what I was thinking of too, and I don't know it.
Making My Dreams Come True.
Ah, there
that
you
song
go.
is so good.
I'll give you that Hall & Oates has a better mustache than the
And
rest
Lizzie Hale.
than the rest of those bands that we talked about. The mustache in Hall & Oates is really good. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So Hailstorm it is.
Hailstorm it is, which takes us to the I's. Scott, you kicked off the H's. I only have one I band. It's not that deep of a group, but I do like them a lot. So, Dan, do you want to give us the I?
I have three. One's
Okay.
a joke. But honestly, the first I band I think of is the Indigo Girls.
I had that too. They're great.
Right?
Yes.
But
they're
no.
great.
I would vote.
What do you mean, but no?
I would vote for Iron Maiden.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
even have
thinking
them.
Bill's band is INXS.
Wow, you are correct, and I did not even think of Iron Maiden. That's funny.
I didn't either.
Wow.
Sorry, Steve Harris.
I had INXS, Indigo Girls, and Incubus.
Incubus sucked.
No, they
Yes,
didn't.
they did.
They were good. They're a good band.
Didn't they headline Laserfest one year?
I don't. Maybe were they on the rock stage one year? No, I don't.
They suck.
They were fine. But so yeah,
They were fine.
I didn't have Iron Maiden on there because I don't like Iron Maiden. I just
Seriously, I don't know what's wrong. Like,
so I'm voting for the.
why
Indigo
am I the
Girls.
youngest and the only one who likes the classic metal?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. You're old at heart.
There's
I guess. I never got into Iron Maiden until like the last 10 years. Same with like Motorhead and Priest and Sabbath. Like the last 10 years, all of a sudden, like I finally went back and it was like, wow, they're all amazing.
So I
Especially
can think
Motorhead.
that, like, I can go, man, Iron Maiden was so talented. But you get like 3 songs in listening to even a greatest hits, and you're like, all right, I'm kind of done with this sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
No way. 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Great song.
Can I Play with Madness?
Great song.
Right?
I'm
Aces High.
I'm just saying you can't really go 3 or 4
Run to the
songs in a
Hills.
row of Iron Maiden before being like, all right, I'm good.
See, this all goes back to you don't like the high pitched singers.
Yet
No,
you make fun of
I don't
us for
either.
liking other high-pitched singers such as Miles Kennedy.
I don't
See?
listen to him enough to.
Point being, we're not going to go down that road again. I'm just saying there are high-pitched singers I really do like. Bruce Dickinson
Like Steelheart?
kind of gets to... You were the Steelheart fan. Let's get that out there.
God.
They sold 1 album in Milwaukee, and you were the one to buy it. So let's
That's
just
true.
put that out there
That's
right
true.
now.
So we're going to vote for the Indigo Girls, right?
Man, come on. I can't.
What? They're great.
I'm
Closer
not
to
voting for
Fine,
that.
Galileo.
Stop, Scott.
What? What?
No.
What? I'm telling you, dude.
I can't. No.
Come on, you got to when you're in that kind of mood where you're like, "You know what? I need some good folk tunes." What are your choices? Your choices are what? Indigo Girls. That's the go-to group.
I will say
Either that
I know
or-
how to play Closer to Fine because when I'm sitting around a fire, I know it'll get at least the moms sitting around
Gotta
with
get
us
your
singing.
capo there.
Yes, you do. But
It's like I don't even know you.
to me, like, INXS is an easy no-brainer. Need You
Yeah,
Tonight,
well,
Devil
yeah.
Inside,
Yes.
Never
INXS
Tear Us
is
Apart,
great.
New Sensation.
Yep, I'll go with INXS too. I'm comfortable with INXS, but no.
I would pick Iron Maiden, but yes, INXS would be my number 2.
All right. So then we've got
I'm putting it down.
unanimous agreement on INXS.
INXS. All right.
Jay is another weak letter.
Jay is a weak letter. I only have 1, so I'm intrigued to hear
I
what
have
you guys
4.
have.
I have 4, and they're all legit.
Are they
They're
all
all legit.
classic rock
No,
bands from like 40 years ago?
2 of them are.
My J is for you, Dan. I'm just gonna say. Can I? I'm just
Jackal?
gonna say it. I said Jackal for you, Dan. That's it. That's
Thanks.
the list.
Thank you. Ah,
No. 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 No.
So I stand alone on Jackal.
No, any band that uses a chainsaw as an instrument, no.
Genius.
Not really.
Have you heard the song with Jackal and Brian Johnson from AC/DC? It's just like, I
No.
can scream louder, no I can't. And that's all it is, back and forth.
That's funny.
It's just kind of both of them getting up there and up there and up
No. No. But
there. Okay, what other J's do you have?
well, I want to hear your J's first, and then I'll bat clean up.
Well, you know Judas Priest.
No.
Oh no.
Speaking of singing up there, and Journey.
Well, I had Journey.
And then, in your Allison Chains vein, Jane's Addiction.
Huh.
Yes, Jane's Addiction.
Huh.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I forgot about Jane's Addiction. I'm embarrassed.
You
You
know,
guys just suck.
I had never listened to Ritual Delo Habitual or whatever that album, their big album is called. You know, I'd heard the popular
With Been
songs.
Caught Stealing?
Yeah, Go and
Stop.
Been Caught Stealing.
Yeah.
Stop.
Stop.
I listened to that on a run, cover to cover, and I was like, wow. New appreciation for Dave Navarro. Like, it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So you got some good ones there, Dan. Yeah, I'm not gonna allow like Judas Priest. We'll have to hang up if we say that's the answer. But the other ones, I totally can get behind. Even though Rob
Yeah, I
Halford
can-
would want you to get
What?
behind. I'm not even gonna say that. Never mind. That was mean.
What is your deal with Judas Priest? Like, breaking the law, 2 minutes...
That's Iron Maiden. 2 Minutes to Midnight. We already did that.
Living After
Painkiller.
Midnight.
Living After Midnight. Like, they have really good songs. Turbo Lover.
Yeah,
You can't even say that's a good song without laughing. You can't.
I know.
They've got lots of songs.
Yeah. Period. Just they have lots of songs.
They
They're
do.
good.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, I had
With-
Journey because Journey is Journey.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You got to be in the right mood for Journey. You know, you got to be in the mood for a good cry, and then put on Separate Ways or whatever.
Is Faithfully Journey or just Stephen Perry?
No, Faithfully is Journey as well.
It's a Journey.
Oh, Sherry is just Steve Perry.
That's Steve Perry, yeah.
That's a great song. But I also had... Now, again, you guys are going to yell at me, but I totally ignored the no solo artist rule for this one.
Janis Joplin?
No, Joss Stone.
Double J.
Joss Stone.
Ooh, good voice.
Isn't that like a Tom Selleck movie?
What?
He plays some like Joss Stone characters.
No, you idiot. Joss Stone is a singer. Dumbass. And then I had John 5 and the Creatures.
Huh.
And if you don't know who John 5 is, probably one of the best guitar players around today. And then I had Jason Bieler in there as well, too. But we can come back to him a little later because we're going to circle back around to that.
We'll get to the yeses.
Tom Selleck has been in 9 movies. Jesse Stone.
Yeah, that's not Joss Stone.
Same thing.
No. It's not.
Same thing.
Dan's got a crack research guy over there just giving him the names in his ear.
I got an intern.
Jesse Stone.
Yes.
Jesse Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's got an intern.
So, but I will go with, I do like Jane's Addiction. I think that's probably...
I will say, just because whatever that album came out in like the early 2000s, that's the only Jane's Addiction album I ever had. It's like when they got back together.
Oh.
It was when we worked at Laser and I just stole it. And
Borrowed
that's
it.
really good. And then when I got to meet them at Lollapalooza, Dave Navarro is one of like 3 people I've met that just oozes rock star. Like,
Yeah.
he had blue tight leather pants on and a black vest, and I was like, dude, it works for you. You're pulling it off.
Is that why you started to wear that to work then after that?
Well, that's why it became acceptable for me to wear it to work, because people saw he wore it.
Right, because Dan would
Right,
show up in
right.
these tight leather pants and then a
Right.
black
with
vest.
the beer gut.
Yeah, no shirt on. And we're like, huh.
You're
Must
like,
be.
it's 7 a.m. What are you doing?
I thought it was Hawaiian shirt day. Apparently it's leather vest day. Who knew?
It's always leather vest.
So,
Yeah.
But
interesting.
that being said, like, Dave Navarro is amazing, and I love him on the Tattoo Show.
Yeah,
So
you
have you
told me
listened to their first
we-
2 albums, though? Nothing Shocking and Ritual?
All I've heard is been caught stealing.
You've got to
Go.
you've got to listen to their first one. Nothing Shocking. It's great.
Fair enough. But because of that, of those Jays, Jackal is my favorite band. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, okay, but you're wrong. So again,
But my vote for the best J band would... You're not going to support me on Judas Priest, so I would say Journey.
all right.
And Scott, you'd go Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, out of the bands that we've talked about, and again, kind of adhering to that not solo artist rule, yeah, I would go with Jane's Addiction, but I'm fine with Journey. You know, they're not.
Everyone is fine with Journey. That's the perfect way to describe Journey.
Well, exactly. That's just like, yeah,
if you
Journey.
put it on, everyone would be like, all right, I'm fine with that.
Right.
That's so true.
one's
No
gonna
one would
be
be
like-
like, get that off. They would just be like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah, they're the ultimate band that's like, they're fine.
Right?
I think that's the perfect way of describing it.
And I was gonna go Journey just because of hit power over Jane's Addiction. So because I'm
Now,
fine
can
with
I
it.
throw a wrench in before we finalize this?
Sure.
There's, right, we said no solo bands, but what about the Jimi Hendrix Experience? Is that solo or is that a band?
Well, then that's the same conversation about John 5 and the Creatures. Is that a solo band or is yeah? So, and Jason Bieler with his new album that's coming out
And
next
none
month.
of those would matter if Jimi Hendrix is allowed. Just so you know.
He's got a point because like it was stretching the line to compare John 5 to Jimi Hendrix, but then when you compare Jason Bieler to Jimi Hendrix,
Oh my God, you guys!
I like John 5. I'm not ripping John 5.
Have you heard Jimi Hendrix, though? Scott, I mean, I know you play guitar, but
Yeah, I've heard Jimi Hendrix. I was just telling Bill a little while ago, my last dog was named Hendrix.
All right, so we need a ruling. I think that's too close to solo. I say oh my gosh. For those listening, Scott just unzipped his sweatshirt and is wearing a Saigon Kick shirt.
Well, you guys were saying
with pride.
Not nice
With
things
pride,
about Jason Bieler,
And-
so
Hey,
it's like I knew this was going to come up, and I planned ahead.
I'm part of the 2/3 of this group that is a Saigon Kick fan. Scott, you and I met them.
I know. The pictures are right back there.
And people
You guys
are
covered
listening
them.
going, what does Saigon Kick have to do with this Jason guy? For those listening,
No, they're listening saying, who the hell is Saigon Kid?
Maybe.
Is what they're doing.
oh gosh. And his shirt has expletives on the back.
Because that band was so hardcore with their Love Is On The Way hit.
Dude, wait until we get to the S's. I will make a case for Saigon Kick that everybody listening will be like, you know what? Scott's right, and Saigon Kick is great. We're just going to, unless you guys
It's
want to
just-
skip right ahead.
Oh, wait.
Is
Jason,
your mom going to listen to that one?
You know
Is that
what?
you're saying?
I may need to position for Jimi Hendrix to count because then I'll want Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators to count as a band for the S's, so that could win that category.
See, I threw a monkey wrench.
you did throw a monkey wrench. So I
Van
think
Halen counts. Bon Jovi counts. But any band like the Jimi Hendrix Experience or Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band does
right.
not.
When you
right?
get a first name in there, I think we have
Okay,
to
that's
Okay.
okay. I needed to know.
exclude it.
Good
So
ruling.
we'll still be able to include Tremonti for T's by that.
We could have had Doherty in the D's or Daughtry, whatever his name is.
Slash is neither a first name or a second name, so he counts too.
It's not. It's a nickname.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right.
So Journey's our winner.
I think Journey we'll go with Journey.
This podcast might be titled "I'm fine with that." This episode might be titled "I'm fine with that."
I'm good with that one too.
Journey,
K's an easy one.
Journey. ... I'm fine with that. I think K's an easy one too, Dan. I have one band. I'm guessing we have the same band. Scott, how many bands do you have?
I have three.
I've got 2.5. I throw Lenny Kravitz in there because he's
Because you don't know the rules.
Like, it's not a hard rule, Scott.
because what rule are you guys talking? Oh, the one we just talked about. Literally 2 seconds ago. That one.
That one. Yes, that's it.
Maybe I just wanted to mention him.
Lenny Kravitz is amazing. And maybe we'll do a podcast on the best solo artists A to Z.
I'm making a note.
And that guy, Lenny Kravitz, and going back to what Dan said about Dave Navarro, because I met Lenny Kravitz.
I've never met him, but I bet.
Yeah, he oozes rock star. Just coming off of him, you're like, holy God, this guy's cool.
For those listening, Scott is
Lee.
sweating right now.
Tommy Lee oozed rockstar too, but he oozed a lot of other things too that
Yeah, he oozed like
you
hepatitis.
may want to stay 6 feet away from even before the pandemic.
Yeah, Tommy Lee did ooze rockstar, though. He was nothing but cool.
So yeah, getting back to K's, the serious note on K's. So I had two then. So I had Kansas.
Ooh, I did not. Now who's the old school guy?
I did that one for you, Dan, because I figured, you know what, if Dan's going to
Not
go
a
back in
Kansas.
time. So I did
Although
Kansas.
Dust in the Wind's a good song.
Carry On, Wayward Son. That's a great song. And then my actual pick is Korn.
Wow. I had Korn on my list.
Wow.
And then I had King's X because
No.
I like King's X.
Korn is way better.
But again, Korn is better than King's X, yes. You're right. The K band has to be Kiss.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even put them on there because no.
What?
You
No.
cannot like them, but Bill and I saw them, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
They still put on a great show.
It was an absolute
have-
blast.
I saw them.
They're like a heavier Beatles. Here's a 3-minute song that's catchy, and we're going to market it well, and here's our shtick.
Yeah, so sure. You've got that going for Kiss. But, as far as like song quality,
I Love It Loud.
Firehouse. I mean, let's
The
think
band?
about that.
Are we
song.
going to go back to the F's? Is that
No,
what you're
we're
saying?
not going to. We're talking about this song. Yeah, so no.
Unholy is an amazing song.
No.
Yeah, we saw them twice on that tour, Scott. You and me.
I know. But, and then I saw them on the, the reunion tour that
Psycho
they did
Circus?
with yeah, that one.
That's a bad song.
And yes, it was. And I was like sitting there watching them, and I'm going, yeah, this is Kiss. They're in their makeup. Okay. When are they going to play Cold Gin so I can leave? I mean, that was that was really like my thought process when I was watching them. That's not taking anything away against their historical impact on rock and roll and the evolution of it. But I just think as far as like a better band is Korn. Because, now hear me out. The influentialness, if that's a word, probably not, but think about it. Korn kind of changed again the direction of the way music was going. They came in with their 7-string guitars, down tune, did all that kind of stuff. Really dark lyrical content with Jonathan Davis's with the first album.
All day I dream about success all day.
Yeah, going on from there to every album, it's very dark. Even their last album, you know.
Dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah, so I just think Korn is definitely a better pick than Kiss by a long shot. And did you hear Korn's cover of Wood by Alice in Chains?
Jeez.
It was killer. And because it was just awesome because, I mean, it was a really, like, true to the original song cover, you know, with a couple of variations in there. But towards the end, like that last little phrase that he does, if I would, could you? You know, Jonathan Davis's vocals on that were just, they're just killer. Just give you goosebumps, and it's just great. So I think Korn is definitely, like, such a great band. And they've had such longevity, too. They've been able to survive, like, that genre that they started, the new metal or whatever you want to call it. You know, they were able to survive that when that kind of tapered off, and they're still putting out albums and
getting airplay, I'll give you.
Yeah.
They're in regular rotation.
Yeah, and the songs that they're putting out just keep getting better and better and better. And even their little dalliance with dubstep, I mean, those tunes were great, too. Like Narcissistic Cannibal, you know, that was a great song.
Their cover of Word Up is pretty awesome.
Yeah, see.
Their cover of Word Up and Wood might be the only full songs I've ever listened to by them.
They have a cover of
Really?
Yeah.
Brick in the Wall is awesome.
Oh my God! You should go check out like Woodstock '99, Korn, Blind. They open up with Blind, and just watch the crowd reaction because the way that song starts is just it's so
should
great.
Listen to the Follow the Leader album.
Yeah.
Is so good.
Yeah.
It is really good. It's very bass heavy.
Well,
it's awesome. I'm still going to vote for Kiss.
I was going to say, I'm going to go Kiss, Dan, so you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah. I got nothing against Korn. I'm just in this staying consistent and respecting the historical aspect of a band. And Kiss, while your point of they brought in a new genre of music, as we'll get to the next letter, they also brought us Limp Bizkit. So was that a strike against?
No, I don't think so. Because I don't think Limp Bizkit, because Limp Bizkit made my list.
They made mine too. They have some catchy songs. Our favorite restaurant when we lived in Edgewater, Chicago was Nookie's. And every time I just had to sing the song every time we went there.
But again, that such an impact in 1999, 2000, 2001. Limp Bizkit.
So K is Kiss.
K is Korn, right?
No, because, I mean, everything you just said about 1 year, Scott, you could say for 20 years of Kiss with multiple variations. Like, there's the original Kiss, then there's the Bruce Kulick version of Kiss, which so many of us loved, like his guitar style. Like Hot in the Shade and Revenge are killer albums. And then there's just...
Kiss has a movie made about them.
Yeah, they do.
Korn does not.
Then there's the nostalgia factor now that, like Dan said, when we saw them, it was like stepping into 1975. And it was so fun. Just,
it was -4.
I don't know how else to say it. It was just fun.
Yeah, I'll give you that. They're a fun band. There's nothing... I'm not saying they're not. I don't know. Maybe
you just
Kiss
don't like them.
Well, I think Kiss has kind of run its course for me now. You know,
so like you're Eddie Trunk. Is that what you're saying? Because Eddie Trunk's hate of Kiss is famous now too. So
I didn't know that. But I just, when I hear a Kiss song on the radio, I'm like, bah, no. What else?
Okay.
Of course, that's not fair either because I don't listen to the radio anymore. So, you know, I don't know.
So K is Kiss. Every kiss begins with K.
Every kiss begins with K. And that takes us...
And if you would like to sponsor us, email me at V2S Podcast.
I see what you did there.
At gmail.com.
That was good.
K Jewelers.
All right, so let's go to the L's. I have been kind of letter light lately, and I'm letter light again on the L's. I have one band. I don't think anybody else goes in the L spot. Totally intrigued to see what other people have, though. What do you got for the L's?
I have 4. I mentioned one, Limp Bizkit, and in the same vein, Linkin Park.
Yep.
Which I like Linkin Park better than Limp Bizkit, but Limp Bizkit has better, like, catchy hits.
Right.
They know how to write a hit.
They do.
I'll give them that.
Yep.
They're kind of the same, though, as, like, Nickelback. All of a sudden, everyone's like, Limp Bizkit sucks.
Right.
And I
What
get it
happened
more
there?
because Fred Durst is not a likable guy. I don't think. He's kind of a douche. Like, I get it, you wear a red hat. You know? Big deal. But at the same time, like, if you've had a bad day and you just sit in your car and crank brake stuff, there may not be a better song in, like, that particular moment.
Right.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think Linkin Park has a better, like, range of songs and albums. That being said, I wouldn't pick either of them because you have Lynyrd Skynyrd, who I would definitely put above both of them. And then the winner has to be Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Lynyrd Skynyrd's like the poor man's American Led Zeppelin.
Oh my gosh, I've
Right.
never heard it put that way. I actually want a shirt that says that.
The inbred Led Zeppelin.
yeah, I think that's probably true. I had Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit in there for the same reasons Dan did. Led Zeppelin will be my winner, but I also want to call out L.A. Guns.
Yes. Cole, I
course you
just
do.
taught Cole about LA Guns today. Talk to
Yes,
us about
I-
LA Guns, Scott.
Just saw them last year, 2019 or 18, 19, last year, whenever concerts were happening. So I saw them at, again, a small club here in Milwaukee. And my God, but back with Phil Lewis and Tracy Guns are back together in this version of LA Guns. Because for years there were two versions of LA Guns going on with like 5,000 different members, just a rotating door of people coming and going.
Do we need
So-
that many versions of LA Guns?
No.
Dan, they
because-
even, when you open your, whatever you do for music, like I use Apple Music, if you type in LA Guns, both versions come up under one name. There's no differentiation. And so I was trying to listen to the new Phil Lewis, Tracy Guns album, and I got the new, whatever the drummer's name is, who owns the name also. And
Nick
I got
Kravitz,
a couple songs in, I was like, wait a second. That's not Phil
hell is
Lewis. So, but
Yeah,
go ahead,
no.
Scott.
They're great. And they were, mid 80s, late 80s hair. Well, not really hair. They were kind of sleaze metal.
Yeah.
So, but Phil's voice has not deteriorated at all. Like a lot of that genre of bands, he still sounds like he did in his 20s back then. Nowadays, those songs are great. I mean, again, kind of when you're in that mood for kind of like Hollywood, Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Strip, L.A. kind of metal. Again, it's like sleaze metal. So you're kind of like the seedy side of Hollywood. This is L.A. Guns is that band. I mean, they're such a good band. They got so many great songs, and yeah. So I would mention them as well. But it's when you're in a category with Led Zeppelin,
Right.
it's just
That's one of those where like it's nice to be mentioned. Thanks. Thanks for
Exactly.
mentioning us. We know Led Zeppelin.
It's nice to be in the same breath with Led Zeppelin.
I can only tell you what Ballad of Jane and Kiss My Love Goodbye. Those are the only LA Guns songs I know.
Oh, those are
Really?
good songs.
Never Enough and Rip and Tear. You never even heard those?
Electric Gypsy, Sex
Electric
Action.
Gypsy? Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
No, Electric Gypsy, great song.
Scott, I don't know if you know that this is out there. I bought for Dan a few years ago, and I have it. They put out a Hollywood Rose, like original version of Guns N' Roses with Tracy Guns playing guitar. Somehow Gilby Clarke got the rights to it and produced it. but it's the original mixes of a couple of the songs that they wrote with Tracy.
Yeah, I heard that. And then I heard like the LA Guns version of some of those tunes as well, too. So they had Phil singing like
cool.
the GNR songs like Mr. Brownstone and I forget which other ones, but that's out there, too. Yeah, so it's kind of this cool, you know, different kind of view of Guns N' Roses through one of the original guys that was part of that whole evolution of the band.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And I heard Tracy interviewed about it a year or two ago, and it was interesting. He said he hasn't talked to Axl or any of those guys since the day he walked out of the last rehearsal. Which you would think at some point, as those bands both became big, they would intersect again, but they never did.
Yeah, but Guns N' Roses became big. LA Guns was like, you know, they were...
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Duff is a guy who kind of, it seems, goes all over, plays with anyone or whatever. You think there'd be some crossover.
You would think
maybe
so.
there will be somewhere down the road.
But I would agree with you. Tracy Guns is incredible. Definitely deserves a shout out. Not to be dumb, but his work in Brides of Destruction with Nikki Sixx, like those two working together was super fun. Not a lot of people listen to that music, but they were really fun together. There were rumors even if Mick Mars passed away, Tracy Guns was going to replace him. But Mick is like
Really?
Keith Richards and will live forever. And I agree with you both. I love that LA Guns got a mention because I was just talking to my son about him today. But yeah, it's got to be Led Zeppelin.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
M. I think M brings the biggest, like, the best list. It's not a debatable list in my mind, but it brings the best list.
Ooh.
All right.
Because I think S's does. So present
I
your
agree.
argument for M. I'm intrigued.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the Monkees, because everyone loves the Monkees.
Okay,
Everyone
good.
does
Thank
love
you.
the Monkees. Yeah.
Good shout out to Davy Jones and Mickey Dolenz.
I'm going to go in order, then, of, like, where you'll be excited.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited at the Monkees. I'm not
Right, right.
Woohoo!
Okay, well, then I should have done this band first. But we'll go with Motorhead, just for the classic. Like, without Motorhead, there's not a lot of the bands we like. I know you're not huge fans of them. I got one of their albums from, like, early 2000s, and it's great. They have a song called We Are Motorhead, which is kind of just, like, they redid Ace of Spades. Like, the intro bass is very similar to Ace of Spades, but it's a great song.
All right.
But then you have Motley Crue, which I know you love.
I do.
Both of you. Megadeth,
Love
Uh-huh.
Megadeth.
which I can go, I don't know why, but I have like 12 Megadeth CDs. Like, I have more Megadeth CDs than Dave, I think.
Wait, can I do a timeout?
Yeah.
This guy comes over, this was years ago, comes over to my house to pick up his daughter because his daughter and my daughter are playing. And he sees all my guitars in like my front room and he goes, "Oh, you're a guitar player." And this guy's tatted up head to toe. And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What kind of music do you like?" So we start talking music and Megadeth and Metallica come up. And he's like, "Yeah, those guys are idiots. Megadeth, Dave totally got the better end of that." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" No, nobody's ever presented the argument that they screwed up and that Dave was the smart one. I need to hear this. And his whole argument was that they were just too caught up in themselves and Dave definitely is the better musician. And I'm like, while I love Megadeth, and a lot of people do, I've never heard somebody present that argument before.
I have 14 Megadeth CDs.
Wow.
I read an article, David Allison was interviewed, and he talked about the first time they listened to Kill 'Em All.
I saw
And, like,
that.
they listened with Dave.
Yeah.
And he's like, you could just see how pissed Dave Mustaine was. Because I guess Dave, when he does solos, like, writes them, and, like, that's the solo.
Yeah.
He don't ever change it. You don't do anything. And he like, would hear Kirk playing his solos and was just livid. Which I wanted Ellison to be like, meanwhile, we were like, this is pretty fucking good. You know, but you couldn't say that if you were in Dave Mustaine's band.
No, you
Right.
can't say that.
Right? But then, obviously, you're all going to say, too, the winner is Metallica. That's a pretty, like, if you go Metallica, Megadeth, Motley Crue, Motorhead, in rock music, that's a pretty good top four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go deeper in some,
It is. I
but
would.
that's a tough top four to beat.
The only little alteration I would have there would be the version of Motley Crue my version of
I know.
Motley Crue that makes this list is the John Corabi version,
I gotcha.
not the Vince Neil. Because
So do you not like them at all with Vince Neil, or you just like them better with Corabi?
I do not like him with Vince Neil.
Wow.
I
Not even
sh-
Feel Good?
Feel Good's on the I like some of the tunes on Feel Good because, again, the guitar sound started getting a little bit cooler with Bob Rock producing that album. But the Corabi album is just so good.
I will say, and Bill knows this, I've sworn off Motley Crue. Like, they will never get a dime from me after I read The Dirt. I'm like, you all are horrible people.
They really are.
They way worse than, like, and I've read all those biographies, and Motley Crue just stands out. But Saints of Los Angeles is a really good album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Saints of Los Angeles was their Aerosmith pump. You know, like, if they were going to really make a go out of it and do 2 or 3 albums, they could have done it there because they were just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I don't think they should make the list either because of their, they did their farewell tour and then they signed the contract of not to do another tour. We're not going to tour anymore. And then like a year and a half later, they're like, ha, just kidding, we're back.
Ozzy's done that like 10 times.
Yeah, I know, but the whole thing was like, hey, we're signing a contract. This is real, man. We're not going to tour anymore. And everybody's like, oh, shit, let's go get our final Crew tickets to see the Crew.
That's just marketing. How many farewell tours has Kiss done?
But I totally respected it because I was 55% sure they were serious.
55.
Well, if they really wanted to do a farewell tour, again, they should bring out Corabi, Why ignore these chapters of their history? It's like Van Halen ignoring Gary Cherone. This is part of who your band is.
But I was just going to say, to that point, because Vince Neil can't sing, he's not good enough to sing the Corabi stuff. Roth can't sing the Sammy Hagar stuff. Sharon's calling card was that he could sing the Roth and the Hagar stuff, and live, I guess everybody loved it because they just did everything.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, Vince Neil can't sing his own stuff anymore either.
Good point.
It's true.
I mean, holy moly.
I like this theory, Scott. When bands tour, they should bring everyone who's been in the band. So when Kiss tours, there'll be like 50 guys on stage.
Yeah. Well, if in the case of like Motley Crue and Van Halen, when you've got a different singer who brings a completely different dynamic sound to the band, you got to drag those guys out too if you're going to do like a big farewell tour and bye-bye, we're not going to tour anymore.
But
bring these guys out.
Did you go to that Sam and Dave tour?
I did, yeah.
I remember I went.
Yeah.
I did not.
That was good. Yeah, I went with you and Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sammy Hagar played a set, then David Lee Roth played a set.
And that was
It was
fun.
basically what you wanted without Eddie.
That was fun, but like Hagar had been pushing this the last couple of years, and apparently like Sammy and Wolf have come out and said, yeah, that was in the works, we were going to do it, which I think is a horrible idea because Roth fans and Hagar fans, for the most part, are so like diametrically opposed. I think Hagar would have gotten booed. I don't think it would have been fun.
So. I think it would have been great because they were, I read that too. They were going to do the whole kitchen sink tour. So they were going to bring all 3 guys out, bring Michael Anthony back, Wolfgang's band would open or whatever. I think that would have been brilliant. I think that would have been a great show. Do like a 3-hour show.
Did Anthrax tour with Joey and John, or they just talked about it?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did.
I know there was talk of doing a like Joey and John tour, but I don't think it happened.
See, that would be another good one that they should do.
That would be good. I just think Van Halen fans...
That's, those are 2 very different bands.
Yeah.
Right.
Van Halen fans are so like Hagar or Roth, and I think, Scott, you and I are unique in that we like both eras of the band and treat them different.
Right.
And Dan, I think you're more like, I just like the Roth and I'll listen to Hagar for you, Bill. But
I like the Sammy Hagar. I like Van Hagar.
But I think we're in the minority then because most people are like, oh, Roth is it, and others are like, Roth sucked, it's Hagar. But I just don't think that would have gone over as good as people think in their heads. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But we're not even on the V's. We're on the M's. So your M list is very, very encompassing. I want to say I have been on a Megadeth kick for years now, and I'm so enjoying them more than I did even when they were at their height.
Their like last 2-3 albums are really good.
They really are. They really are. But you're right. It's Metallica, like just like being in a category with Zeppelin.
Yep.
So Scott, I mean, you get to say your piece on Metallica. You introduced all of us to Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
Not me.
It's just there's nothing better than Metallica. Right? I mean, as far as a band they are the band. I mean, come on. There's just so much awesomeness with Metallica. It's just ridiculous. I've seen those guys, I don't know how many times now, but they're phenomenal.
And we'll do the whole podcast on this someday, so spoiler alert, this is coming, but the three of us all believe that Metallica evolved as people, and we have enjoyed every era of the band. Versus everything after the Black Album sucks, and that view of people. And then there's the view that
most people who say that have never heard their last two albums.
Right. Then exactly, because they went back to that old kind of model. And then there's the Jason Newsted comment of, we sell out every single night. And
right.
They just have a sound that is incredible. So we'll do a whole thing on Metallica for those Metallica fans. Keep listening. But the three of us could not be bigger Metallica fans and would probably promote them.
My favorite story, I tell my students this. It does not impress them because they're 17. But I always tell them how I peed on Metallica's tour bus. And they look at me, I'm like, I'm not a jerk. I didn't pee on the tour bus. I was in the tour bus and used the bathroom.
Because I thought you meant on the bus when you said that.
I know, but that's why I say it like that.
I was getting that sense too.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I say it like that. It makes it a little more fun.
And again, having worked with you back then, I wouldn't
surprise you, right?
Wouldn't
no.
Wouldn't put it past you.
I was supposed to record liners with James, and he was, taking wasn't on the bus. I'm like, can I use the bathroom? Right when I walk in, all of a sudden I hear him walk into the bus. I'm like, fucking great, right? I walk out of the bathroom and he looks at me like, who is this dude using my bathroom?
Wow. Was that on the St. Anger tour?
Yeah. It was in Chicago with their big summer sanitarium tour.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
With Limp Bizkit and Deftones. I don't know who else.
That's awesome.
Then I was just like, hi, I'm here to record liners for a Milwaukee radio station.
I just peed on your bus.
I peed on your bus.
That's awesome. I remember my crowning moment was...
I wash my hands, please.
I think it was... it might have been Scott. It might have been you and me and Dave or Dan. I don't think you were there when we met him on the Black Album tour.
No, I wasn't there. I remember you came on with an autographed dollar bill.
Scott, were you there for that when we met him on the Black Album?
I didn't meet him on the Black Album tour. I met them on Load and then St. Anger. I met him around both those times.
Well, James had something to go to, so James wasn't there. Newstead was kind of a jerk, but in a really cool way. And there was some girl that Lars was all entrapped with, so he was nice and signed stuff. But to Kirk, I walked up to him and I said, so I heard I'm going to be on tour with you next year. And he was the nicest guy. He's like, I like your attitude, man. Sit down. And he talked to me for a half hour and just sat and talked like the three of us are talking. It was so cool and so impressionable. This is just a normal guy who happens to be in the biggest rock band in the world. It was so
That's
cool.
Awesome.
So how'd that tour go?
That tour? My priorities changed. So, I decided not to go
college.
Yeah.
All right.
The UW Whitewater Club hockey team needed them more.
That's right. So, I'm writing a big M for Metallica for the M's. We are coming up on an hour here.
Do we have time for the end?
Yeah, let's get to the end, and then let's call it at the end, and we'll pick up at the O, which I'm sure will be a shock to most people when we do the O. But let's do the end, because... I don't know how you don't go with the band that sold more albums than anyone in the 90s, Nickelback and Chad Kroeger.
You could
I have
go with
4
that.
bands.
I have
4.
All right, what do we got for the ends?
Go, Scott.
I have Nickelback on my list as well. Nirvana, of course. And then I have Neurotic Outsiders, which is Duff.
Never heard of it.
That's
Duff McKagan.
And
Steve Jones. Steve Jones.
And who's on guitar, though?
I don't know.
Somebody...
What's the guy's name on first base?
Duff.
Oh.
Duff McKagan.
I actually listened to the album not long ago, Scott, because it was the anniversary of him dying or something.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just put it on there because I'm like, oh yeah, Duff was in this band, Neurotic Outsiders, and
It was really fun.
but yeah. So Nickelback, Nirvana, Neurotic Outsiders, and I will give a mention to again because I'm ignoring the rules. Nita Strauss, guitar player. She's the guitar player for Alice Cooper, and then she does solo stuff. She's phenomenal, and she and I share a birthday. So
I share a birthday with Paul McCartney.
nobody asked.
I win.
No, I think I win actually.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Matt Sorum played drums with the Neurotic Outsiders, and then the guitar.
I thought he was going to
player
say he
was
shared a
from
birthday with
Duran
Matt
Duran.
Sorum. I was like, you lose.
So am I gonna have to wear a Saigon Kick shirt for next episode too? Because we
Yeah.
didn't get to the S's.
Yeah.
Did you think we were going to get to the S's?
Yeah, come on.
Well, I don't know. I thought we'd kind of be able to get through some of these
No.
letters. Apparently, I
So
talked.
I have Nickelback and Nirvana.
Yeah.
And then they don't belong to win, but I'll throw them out there. 9 Inch Nails.
Oh yeah,
Huh,
that's a good.
That's a good one.
That's a good.
They were. I was never a huge fan. They had a few good songs I liked, but they did kind of change music. You know.
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
kind of before Korn of the new metal,
Yeah.
give you that.
and then Korn took it another level. And just because I know Bill loves this band, Night Ranger.
Scott, I once made, no lie, back when you'd
I
make
knew he was
CDs
gonna say
for
this. I
people.
knew this story.
I know you do. Back when you'd make CDs for people, my brother-in-law loved Night Ranger, so shout out to Dennis. I made him a CD and I wrote Night Ranger's greatest hits on it, and I put Sister Christian on there 11 times.
You should have played some Styx songs.
Yeah, they had one or two
Or
others.
Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
anyways, I mean, even those bands you said, I ended up having a respect for Nirvana. Nickelback was fun to me. I have no problem saying I like Nickelback.
No, I don't either. I think they've got a lot of great songs. I mean, if you got to get past the kind of like some of the lyrical content, which is a little, you know, kind of scraping the basement of.
Well, look at that. Whoa. We all love hair metal. There is no deep lyrical content in any
That's
Poison
true.
song. Maybe other than Something to Believe in. That one maybe a little bit.
I beg to differ. Unskinny Bop, that's deep.
True.
What are you talking about?
Like Unskinny Bop. No, let's add like 3 more bops. Yes.
you got Warrant's got Uncle Tom's Cabin. That's pretty deep. That's a pretty deep tune. I Saw Red. Come on, by Warrant. Cinderella,
Stop.
Gypsy Road.
Gypsy Road's a great song. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Yep.
just saying every band doesn't have to have deep lyrical content.
No, they don't. But some of their Nickelbacks was like, what is that one song?
Animals.
Nah, well, there's that one, and there's another one.
I don't know, man. Like, that whole, it was their second album, but their first big album, like, there's some deep stuff he's talking about there, like Abuse.
Yeah.
Never
and-
Again.
Yeah, Never
No,
Again.
yeah, sure. Never Again was a pretty heavy
And
song.
Photograph is a fun song about, like, reminiscing.
Didn't they just? I haven't seen it, but I've heard they redid it for Google or something.
Yep, they did. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I watched that the other day.
Is it?
Yeah, he kind of took the
Photograph
piss
did?
out of himself. Yeah,
Really?
Nickelback did. Yeah, they
Or-
took the piss out of themselves. It was really funny. So yeah, I'm totally fine with Nickelback.
They just redid The Devil Went Down to Georgia about
I've heard that. That's
a couple
pretty
months
good.
ago. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Korn did that too.
Did they really?
Yeah, no, I'm not just saying it. They
Cool.
did.
I saw Wayne Newton do that.
I did
So did
too.
Bill.
I was with you.
Nice.
My end's going to be a vote. Like, I agree. Nickelback's good. I like him. The Feed the Machine album that came out a few years ago, that's a really good album
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
But I'm going to vote for Nirvana.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know it's really, you're voting on like 2, 3 albums. I like the Sliver. But I'm going to vote Nirvana.
All right, Scott, don't say yet because I'm going to vote Nickelback. I'm going to let you have the deciding vote. Not that I ended up liking Nirvana, but it did kill everything I loved at that age, so I'm not going to give him my vote. I'm going to go Nickelback. And Scott, I'll be fine with whatever you choose.
Yeah, I'm Well, I think I'm going to go with, I mean, again, nothing against Nirvana and what they accomplished and how they changed the direction of music, but I'm going to give Nickelback this one. Just
Who would have
because
thought?
they're
We may get Chad
fun.
Kroger on the next podcast.
Because they're a fun band.
Email me, Chad, at V2S Podcast at gmail.com. Or
And
hit us up on Twitter at V2S Podcast.
And you can talk to Dan
Chad
about
Kroger.
all the classic rock bands that Dan adores.
A couple of years ago, Chad Kroger showed up at Sammy Hagar's birthday
met Chad
bash
Kroger.
in Cabo, and gosh, the whole place went freaking nuts. And they did Rockstar, and it was so fun. And all
That's a fun
Sammy
song.
did was sit on the side and do the deep voice, like the guy who's like, "I'll have a quesadilla."
Yeah,
It
Billy
was
Gibbons.
great.
My daughter wanted a quesadilla today, and I sang that. I go, I'll have the quesadilla. And even Kristen looked at me like, what the hell are you doing? I was like,
I remember when they did their first tour around off their, well, it was technically their second album, but it was their first album that did anything, so it had Leader of Men on it. So they were touring around with that. They played the rock stage at like in the middle of the day. Well, maybe not. Maybe they might have been the 8 o'clock band. So they were there one night, and then they came back the next day because they were still there. And so they come back. They're walking around the Summerfest grounds, and they come up to the trailer, and they're just like, "Hey, where can we score some weed?" And they're like, so they came up to us filthy radio people, and they're like, "Where do we get the weed? You guys got any weed?" And we're like, "No, we don't, but yeah, I'm sure you ask around, you'll find some, dude." This is Summerfest.
we got a lot of beer.
Yeah, there's a lot of beer, a lot of booze, but no, we don't have any weed. But yeah, I remember that like the whole band just came up and they were just walking around the grounds, like checking stuff out, and they came up to our trailer because they played the stage the night before, and they're like, "Hey, you guys got any weed?" No, we don't, but right on.
And on that note,
All right, so let's recap what we've accomplished here tonight. We did not get far, but I don't know that we expected to. I mean, I do think,
I think
this
we
is
got
a
one
four-part
farther
thing.
than last time.
So we started at the H's, and we decided on Halestorm. The I's brought us INXS. The J's brought us Journey. The K's brought us Kiss, Scott, not Korn.
Boo.
And then the next three were pretty easy, even though a little fun to talk about. Led Zeppelin, Metallica, and Nickelback. So we'll pick up the next episode with the O's. I mean, this could be a four-part thing, but any final shots, Dan, that you want to make sure we say?
Stay tuned for S and hear Scott go on a diatribe about the Spin Doctors.
No, you thought my monologue about the Black Crowes was bad. Wait until we get to S. I got some stuff to say around bands of the S.
Saliva?
Oh my God, no. But that's outstanding that you brought them up. No, I won't go on about Saliva.
Sixpence None the Richer?
I don't mind them. They're all right.
There you go. I do have one question, logistic question. Numbers.
7.
Do we do a separate band? There are a few bands that start with a number. Or do we go with the letter they start with?
I guess I'll need an example, because I can't think of a band I like that starts with a number.
Not that they'd win, but Three Doors Down.
How do they spell it? I'd go to the album
3.
cover.
They put a 3.
Okay. Then they're not eligible because it's bands A to Z, not bands 1 through 9 and A to Z.
Sorry. Tonight's a good song. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not.
All right, bye.
Scott, any parting shots on that?
No, I'm good. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and checking us out again. We appreciate you guys listening. If you are listening, if not, we appreciate talking to each other. And
Follow our Twitter. Only my wife follows us. It's sad.
yeah, somebody go on the Twitter.
V2S Podcast.
And you can interact with us by hitting up the email, and we're going to have a Facebook page pretty soon that you can follow on Facebook. Send us emails, send us Twitters, do all that stuff.
Do all that stuff. Yeah, Scott brings
us-
up a good point. Send us emails, not to our personal emails, those of you who know us, because I don't read my personal email. Other people do that for me. So let's have do
Other
the show
people is this
email.
guy.
Wow,
Okay?
la-di-da.
I know. I just wanted to say that. So do the show email so we can interact and have some fun with this. Yes. All right.
Yeah, and let us
V2S Podcast at gmail.com.
let us know what you think. Let us know where we went wrong, and we'll maybe respond back. Most likely not, but we'll read it.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody. We appreciate you, and be great. And we'll see you next time when we start with the O's, and we'll see how far we get it. Thanks for listening.
Oh.